Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Trishy and for today's class we will be doing a deep yin yoga practice for positive thinking. So collect all your props and come and take a comfortable seat. Either kneeling, sitting up on a block, cross legs, whatever feels comfortable for you. Place your palms on top of your knees and close your eyes. Begin to connect to your mat and your practice by lengthening through your tailbone and bringing your shoulders onto the back body. Bring your palms together in prayer in front of your heart space. Inhale deeply and then exhale through your mouth. Come and lie on your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor, bring your shoulders onto the back body and grab a hold of your block. You're going to lengthen through your left leg and bend through your right knee, bringing your right knee into the chest. So you can either interlace your fingers on your hamstring, in front of the shin, whatever feels comfortable for you. You can even use a strap to pull it in. I'm placing a block beside my right hip as kind of a guideline not to let my hip open up out into the right. So you're pulling your knee into your chest. So if you're new to the practice of yin yoga, what we do is hold passive poses for about 1.5 minutes up to 10 minutes. So you have no or very, very minimal muscular engagement. Instead, you're letting gravity guide you to stretch and stress in a good way into your joints and connective tissues. So yin yoga is a practice for joints as well as your organs through your meridians. So because you're holding passive poses for a long time, you want to have your hold of the pose be on an intensity scale. So if the intensity scale is 1, you feel nothing, and 10, you feel pain, you want to keep the intensity about a 4 or a 5. That might sound very low to you, but because we're holding these poses for minutes at a time, it's best to stay in that sweet spot of a 4 or a 5. And you really will gain the most flexibility by relaxing all tensing muscles and staying at that 4 or 5. There's lots of variations in yin yoga as well. So if straightening your left leg is too intense, you can go ahead and bend your left knee, bringing your left foot to the mat. Otherwise, we're going to be holding each pose for about 5 minutes or so. Yin yoga is an introspective practice, so feel free at any point if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, diving inside, and kind of building a meditative state while you practice. So I won't be talking as much as I normally would in a vinyasa class, so that you can reap the benefits of yin yoga. So release the hold of your right knee. I'm just switching the block to the opposite side. Slowly bend through your left knee, bringing your foot to the mat. You can just open your right knee out to the side, and you can either stay here or feel free to move into half happy baby pose. So your right foot is pointing towards the ceiling or the sky. You're clasping on to the outside of your right foot, or using your two peace fingers to loop around your big toe. Either way, you're bringing your elbow to the inside of the knee to open up your hip a little bit wider, and guiding your right knee down towards the mat. So I have my left knee bent here, and I'm kind of letting my knee just open to the side so that my muscles are relaxed, and it kind of acts as a counterbalance for the other hip opening going on in half happy baby. If any tension has started building up in your right arm or jaw, face, try to relax them. Gently release the hold of your right foot and just hug your right knee into your chest. Take your time as we switch sides, so extend your right leg down to the mat. Bring your left knee into your chest, interlacing your fingers on the top of the shin or behind the belly of your hamstring. And again, I'm just placing a block beside my left glute. It's kind of a guideline not to just let my hip open up and out to the side. Feel free to come out of any pose at any time if you find that your edge is creeping up and further from a 4 or a 5. Slowly begin to bend your right knee, foot on the floor. You can move your block underneath your right hip. Open your left knee out to the side and either stay here or take half happy baby on the other side. Make any little movements that you need to get comfortable to stay here. Notice sensations in your body. And relax all muscular tensions that don't need to be working. If it's too hard to hold half happy baby, you can always loop a strap around the ball of your left foot and work the pose from there. If you had your left leg and half happy baby, go ahead and bend your knee. Just bring both feet back to the mat. Extend your feet wide and let your knees knock in together. And then bring your knees into your chest. Give them a big squeeze. Roll to one side. So we're going to come into a wide-legged child's pose next. So bring your knees wide, big toes touch, sit your hips back to your heels. And what I'm doing here is placing a block underneath my chest, but this is optional. I find that it just really facilitates the long hold and it makes it a lot more comfortable. If you have any pain in your lower back or any kind of pinching, just bring your knees a little bit closer together. Otherwise, walk your arms out, bring your forehead to the mat, and keep your awareness resting on your breath. Slowly use your palms to press into the floor as you lift back up. very slowly. And from here, we're going to take a couple shoulder openers and chest openers. You can feel free to just extend your legs out alternately behind you just to release from the child's pose. So from here, we're going to come into melting heart, as some of you might know it as puppy stretch. So keep your hips over top of your knees, walking your arms forward and bringing your forehead down to the mat, arms extended out in front. So again, I am placing a block underneath my chest, but you can keep it or leave it out, whatever you prefer. And normally in puppy stretch, I would tell you to engage through your abdominals, but because we are focusing a little bit more on shoulder opening and heart opening, you can feel free to let your belly relax down, as long as you're not getting any kind of tension or compression in your lower spine. See if you need to relax your shoulders or your feet or your jaw any more than you can. Press your palms into the floor to help yourself lift back up. You can move your block to the side. We're going to come into Sphinx pose next. So lower all the way down onto your belly, forearms out in front of you. Tops of the feet are resting on the mat. So curl your shoulder blades onto the back body as much as possible and away from your ears. You can lessen the intensity of the pose by just walking your forearms out in front of you so your elbows are further away from your body, and you can make it more intense by bringing your elbows back in. So take deep breaths into the chest, expanding your ribs in all directions, front to back and side to side. Try to relax the back of your neck as much as possible. So if this pose is too intense on your lower back, you can feel free instead to take supported fish. So you have one of your blocks underneath your head and another one of your blocks long ways in between your shoulder blades. So you're really just looking for a back bend here, so you can also choose to work your back bend this way. So slowly begin to lower down. Stack one palm on top of the other and just lower your forehead down on top of your palms. Feel free to bend your knees and just windshield wiper your legs from side to side, just releasing any kind of tension in the lower back. Resting your forehead on top of your palms is just, I find, a nice way to release your neck and spine after Sphinx. You can just give your hips a little wiggle. So from here, we're just going to flip over onto our backs. Bend your knees, feet on the floor. Just walk your feet to the edges of the mat and then let your knees fall in together. You can place your palms on your belly, feeling your breath. Inhale and exhale naturally. You can just take a moment here So the next pose will be reclined swan, or many of you may know it as reclined pigeon. So bend through your right knee and cross your right ankle over top of your left thigh. Use your right palm to push your right knee away from you, and you can either stay here or begin to bring your left knee into your chest. If you're not quite able to make it, you can always prop your left foot up on a block, clasp onto the back of the hamstring, or use a strap around your knee. So whatever keeps you at finding your edge between a 4 and a 5. So your head and shoulders should stay grounded in a reclined swan. If you find that you're lifting up, you can always lower your left knee a little bit lower, or you can prop yourself up your head and shoulders. So we're always using our props in yin yoga to bridge the gap between ourselves and the ground. Keep flexing strongly through your right ankle and foot in order to protect your knee. Give your left knee one last little squeeze, and then keep everything as it is, but just lower your left foot down to the mat. Bring your right arm out into a cactus shape or a T, and then simply lower your left knee down to the mat, bringing your right foot to the floor. So this is a twist as well as a stretch for the IT band, and you can bring your left hand either to the top of the knee in order to press it open, or you can clasp hold of your right ankle. Either way, it's a great counter stretch for all the deep hip openers and back bends we've done in today's class. If you're having trouble getting your right foot to the floor, You can either prop it up on a block as well as your left knee, so it's more accessible that way. Bring your knees back to center. Go ahead and just straighten through your right leg. Give it a little bit of a rest. We're just going to do that sequence on the other side. So cross your left ankle over top of your right knee. Flex firmly through your left foot. And bring your right knee into your chest or right foot onto a block. Just take a moment and be aware of how your right hip feels. And as you hold this pose, try to relax everything that doesn't need to be working. Any kind of redirected tension that may have built up in your jaw or any kind of facial muscles or even your tummy, so that you can relax as much as possible into the pose. Squeeze in your right knee a little bit more. Release the clasp of your fingers, lowering your right foot back down to the floor. Shift your hips over a little bit to the left and then drop your right knee, left foot down to the floor. So you can bring your left arm into a cactus shape or into a T shape. Use your right palm just to gently push your left knee away from you. And you can either keep your palm there or bring it onto the left ankle. Slowly bring your knees back to center, release the cross of your legs, shift your hips back center, and just stretch out into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Make any little movements that feel comfortable to you. Let your feet flop out to the sides, palms facing up. Take a moment and just become aware of any kind of shifts or changes, either physically or mentally, emotionally, now compared to when you first stepped onto your mat. And just let yourself digest after this practice, relaxing completely in Shavasana. Taking these last few minutes of peace and quiet and stillness within yourself. Slowly begin to wake up, wiggling fingers and toes. Turn your head from side to side, raise your arms overhead and take a big stretch like you were waking up first thing in the morning. Roll onto one side. Use the strength of your arms to help yourself come into a comfortable seat. Eyes can remain closed or open. Place your palms on top of your knees, lift up through your spine. And again, just do a quick body scan, seeing how you feel, how that practice made you feel. Bring your palms together in front of your heart space. Inhale deeply through your nose as you exhale through your mouth. Thank you so much for practicing today with me, yogis. If you enjoyed this class, please subscribe to my channel. I put out new classes every single Friday. I hope you have a great day. Namaste.